guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're talking about the solar generators. After I've done the two videos about the blackouts, few of you have commented that you think it's a good idea for you to potentially purchase one of the generators, but unfortunately you don't really know where to start. So I decided to put this video forward. I'm going to explain to you the very basics of the solar generators, hopefully to make you understand a little bit better of how they work and what they do, and at the same time hopefully will make you make a right choice if you do decide to buy one. So as you can see in front of me, guys, I've got options of 3 different generators. You can see they are different size, and of course this size unfortunately does dictate what they can or cannot do in most of the cases. First, one of the main things to point out to you that the solar generators come by themselves, or you can have them with the solar panels. I have an example here, which is a flexible solar panel. If you require the generator to be topped up with the solar, then yes, guys, you will require a solar panel of any kind. However, it is also very important to some of you who potentially don't have the space outside to put the panels, or you don't want to have the panels. Those units could be charged through the main plugs at home, or you can even charge them in a car. Again, of course, it is all dependent on the model that you choose. So let's generally talk about what on earth is a solar generator. Well, guys, it's actually very straightforward. Generally, as I said, it'll come with a solar panel, you have a battery inside, and you have an inverter. So the idea how it works, okay, the solar panels are catching the sunshine, and battery then saves the energy, and then the inverter transfers this energy into a usable power. This literally as simple as that. The size of the generators is because of the size of the battery. Technically, the bigger the battery, the more power it can store, and in time, the more power you can use to power your devices. So now let's dive into the numbers, and then I'll explain what the numbers mean. So for example, here I have the S300 generator. This is a very little one. It is quite an old one. However, it still serves a purpose. So this generator has a 288 watt hours, 300 watt draw, and a 500 watt surge. This one here is S600. It has approximately 598 watt hours. It's got a 600 draw and a 1200 surge. Then we're moving to here. This is the R1500. It is a 1500 watt generator with 3000 surge and 1152 watt hours. So you're asking me, what on earth do those numbers mean? So let's go an example of this one because it's got simple numbers. So this is a 600 watt generator with 598 watt hours, but let's call them 600 just to round it up and make it easier for you to understand. And it has a 1200 watt surge. So what does that mean? Well, 600 watts by itself indicates that this machine will only take any device, okay, or combination of devices that will add on to 600 watts. So for example, if you do have a 100 watt light bulb or any other thing, you can plug it in and it'll be absolutely fine. Anything above 600 watts, the machine won't take. When we're talking about the surge, okay, so this one got a 1200 surge. For example, I give you a washing machine, okay, the washing machine might run at say 1000 watts, but it will creep up to certain, potentially say 1200 or 1300 watts. So the 1200 watt surge means that if your machine is running and only for a few seconds reaches that maximum capacity, your generator is safe. It is there acting as a buffer. So although you cannot run this at the whole 1200 watts, but if your appliance just jumps for a second to that 1200 watts, it'll be a-okay. And now the watt hours, which is actually probably one of the most important ones to look out for. Yes, in a lot of cases things are proportionate, but the watt hours is what dictates how long you can run the appliances for. So again, we rounded this one up to 600 watt hours. For example here, guys, if I have a light bulb, which I do, and this light bulb takes 6 watts, that means I can run this light bulb for 100 hours. Which is pretty much 4 days. So the bigger the capacity of the things you're running, okay, the less of the time you're able to run it. For example, at the same time, if we're taking an appliance that will draw, say, 300 watts, okay, we'll divide 600 watt hours by 300 watts. That means you can run the appliance for only 2 hours. And this is, of course, goes to the fact if the machine is freestanding and you're not using a solar, because if they are connected to a solar, of course, you'll be taking the power in at the same time as using it. So this is literally, guys, as straightforward as that. So if we say, take an example, a 1500 watt unit with a 3000 surge, that means we can run appliances that can potentially draw 1000 watts. So we can easily run, say, an air fryer, say at 1200 watts, it will be absolutely fine, and you'll be able to run this for a couple of hours as well. And the surge in this instance will be the same, but that means that you're able to have a higher surge. So again, if you've got an appliance that potentially can surge at 3000 watts, the unit will be okay. So let's talk about, say, the solar panels. For example, and just to get this out there, because I know, guys, when I cover this video, obviously we had loads and loads of comments there, and well, we all in different situations, and we all really kind of wanted to have those units for a different reasons. And a lot of them were, in fact, for medical reasons. If you've got sort of any apparatuses at home that keeping people, you know, with certain conditions, that they need certain things, they need to be plugged in, this is kind of the thing that you need to consider. So, for example, right, the solar panels. Again, solar panels come in different sizes, different shapes, and different wattages as well. Each one of those units have limitations on how much power it can take. Say the little unit here, the R600, can only take up to 220 solar inputs, whether this guy here can take 650. So again, looking at the numbers, and I don't really want to complicate the numbers for you for the solar panels, because we're kind of talking about the generator for you to use at home. However, okay, the solar panels do come in the wattages as well. Generally 100, 200, 400, 600, and so on, and a few variations in between. So for example, if this unit can only take 220 watt solar panel, that means I can have two of those, and they are 100 watts panels, okay? Because each panel will never take a whole 100%, although they do pretty close, but just to give you understanding. So I have one of those, okay, and you're gonna laugh at me, but I have this unit in my bedroom by the bedside. I have this panel on the inside of my window, okay, and it still takes power. It's one of the things we're currently working on. We do have a big solar panels outside where we have other generators plugged in, but we're trying to find an idea of having certain things powered for free without being connected to the mains solar. So what I mean by this, guys, having those things individually, okay, that means we are not connected to a grid. Even the people that have installations through the government to have the solar panels and the solar systems installed with the massive batteries, they still require a little bit of power to run. And if that power goes off, that your solar electricity, it's not going to be happening because it will not work. So they are individually powered. I do not rely on any power whatsoever. So I have this panel in my window in the bedroom connected to that unit there. Even on the cloudy days, it'll still take power. Not a huge amount of power, guys, but it takes power. It takes enough, okay, for me to be able to run and charge our mobile phones and run my night side light through that unit. So overnight time, of course, they'll get depleted to a certain level. In the morning, when the sun comes out, or in fact, if it doesn't come out, we're still taking power and we're recharging my unit. So this is a great idea because technically, as it stands now, with one panel and the one unit, I can charge our mobile phones at night and run the lights in the bedroom. So to me, it is a pretty good idea because if there is a power outage, I don't have to worry about it. Even on a cloudy day, as I said, we always will have the light in the bedroom and we always have our phones charged. See, as we're talking for a bigger panels, as I said, we have a bigger full-size panels outside that are connected to a different generators. They'll take more power. So the bigger the panels and the bigger generator, you can store more power. And with more powerful generators, you can run many, many other things. For example, the generators we have, and this guy here, it can run a washing machine, okay? To be fair, I don't remember the last time I had to plug in a washing machine into my mains. It was always been running off the solar generators. Again, and the same thing, guys, is applicable to my dehydrator and for the air fryers out there. They are always run through the solar generators. There are times, okay, where I'm taking more power by using my, unfortunately, very hungry dehydrator, but I'm trying to use that in the summer. So if my dehydrator takes, say, 600 watts and I have, give or take, 600 watts coming in, that means it is free energy or free electricity. So of course, one of those very important things for you guys is the fridge and freezers. Again, it all depends, okay, on the efficiency of your fridge freezer, on the size of it, and of course the temperature that you use. As we know, freezers have quite a lot of variable temperatures. I've got some freezers that are set at -18, some of them are set at like 20, -23 or 24. So again, they're all going to play a difference in the power outage. As I mentioned before, okay, your half freezer will last you 24 hours. Your full freezer will last you 48 hours without electricity. it will take roughly, again, it all depends on the ambient temperature, it will take you roughly between 4 and 8 hours, okay, to recharge your fridge or freezer to get it back to the temperature, so you can have another 48 hours. So those generators then kind of become a little bit impeccable. So to give you an idea of the wattage, okay, so the fridge on average runs 100 watts, but it is not a continuous wattage. Many things, it works on a thermostat, okay, so it might draw 100 watts and it will just sit there for a good few minutes, not taking anything, or maybe 1 or 2 watts. As soon as you open the door, temperature inside the fridge just goes up, and then the thermostat will kick in again and it will start drawing 100 watts. This is my example of my fridge, okay? The chest freezer takes slightly different, works slightly different as well, and so is all the fridges. But this is just a good round example. So let's take it on the basis that, okay, it kicks in on and off. So let's say an average of the fridge will be a 50 watts. So take an example, say a 600 watt generator, and let's make it easier. Let's say that the fridge actually taking 60 watts. So you get the idea, the same as like with the light bulb. At the 60 watts for 600 watt unit, it will last in us 10 hours. So that'll be enough to have one of those little units to get your fridge freezer back to the temperature, and then you can unplug this again and you'll be okay for another 48 hours. So the moral of the story, whatever the things that you have that needs to be plugged in, you need to know the wattage to decide, okay, because you need to understand what sort of the amount of time that you need to have certain things running if the power goes out. If it's indefinitely, then yes guys, you need to have the highest wattage hour generator. So as well, again, the few concerns were that you need to have power to certain equipment or hospital equipment constantly. A lot of the units offer you option of the UPS, which is uninterrupted power supply. That's meaning, guys, if you have something plugged in into the system, if the power goes out, okay, it will continue power that device without interruption, because there are medical devices that are very important that they don't get disrupted whilst they're running. So to give you an example here, I have a light bulb. So this generator is currently plugged in, okay, and this is the way you'll be using that if you're using it for UPS. So, okay, it's currently plugged in the wall. I'm going to plug in our light bulb here. Okay, right, so it's on there, so let's put it on. Here we go, light is currently on. So whatever you're running, doesn't have to be a light bulb, whatever is very important you have to run, okay? So this is powering, and this is now connected to the mains outlet. So if there's a power cut, off it goes the power cut, light bulb is still running, okay? There was a tiny little flicker, I think it's got like a 15 millisecond little thing, but it didn't cut the power to it, so I didn't have to turn it back on. So hopefully that gives you a slightly better understanding how the UPS works. So that's that, guys. So let me just turn that off there. This is kind of the basics of the generators. The most important things, as I said, is watt hours. And yes, the bigger the unit, the bigger the battery, the longer you can run things. Don't forget the wattage that is coming out. Okay, so for example, this unit takes 1200 watts. This is a combined load, okay? You can run one item for 1200 watts, or you can have a combination of multiples. We have 4 normal 3-pin plugs, you have USBs, and you have the USB Type-C charging, so it depends what you charge. You can charge all the phones at the same time. I've got the 2 wireless chargers here to charge your mobile phones, so it pretty much offers a lot. So for me, knowing, okay, to having just one of those, I can run my fridge or freezer, chest freezer, whatever I choose to for a couple of days. It is kind of a little bit of peace of mind. So I do hope, guys, I kind of explained this in a layman terms, and just to give you a better idea. I put the links of all the generators down there with the discount codes, but generally it's not as complicated as some people think. So the decision, obviously, is going to be up to you, but you have to really consider, as I said, the main thing is the wattage of the appliance you need to be running. Again, and depending what you're buying this for, whether it's for UPS or whether it's to keep your fridge freezers or whatever else you guys need to do. So anyway, if you did find this video helpful, please don't forget to thumbs up. Any questions, please ask down below, and I shall see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.